Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. Well, today's guest is an artist, a designer, and a business owner. And I met her, or I think I met her. I can't remember if I actually saw her at the Hope Art Crawl, the first one they had this summer, which, by the way, was awesome. So it's time to meet her. Crystal Sedore, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I must have met you. I can't remember.
We met.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking afterwards, did we actually meet? Because I also took some business cards from different artists, right? So, I wasn't quite sure. So one of the things I want to know is, is art something that was always in your background? Or in your...
I've always been interested in creating any type of media. My mother was very creative. She did soap making, and she used to do the Artex fabric art, the fabric paints. Myself, she taught me how to crochet when I was about 6 years old. So I crocheted for years, and I've always been painting and, creating small things.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm going to show some of your paintings, and maybe we'll talk about them a little bit.
Sure.
Here's the first. I'm trying to get the light right. Here's the first one here. Whoops, where did you go? Hold on, I'll bring it right back. Can you
so that's a key rack.
A key rack?
Yeah, so you can see the 5 hooks on the bottom.
Oh, yes. Oh, I didn't even notice that until now. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Oh, and here's another key rack. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so most of my little flat paintings like that are key racks.
Right.
I consider myself sort of more of an illustrator really than an artist. So my artwork is all functional. So you'll see that I do the key racks, I do decorative boxes. Yeah, so they all have a usefulness in the home.
Yeah, for sure. And then that's your I'm just looking at your business card here. It's let's see, Hope Valley Gifts.
Yes.
Right. So what you have a website, so I'll be able to share that later on.
Sure.
So how did you get involved in the art crawl?
Well, I've lived in Hope now for 30 years.
Okay.
So, Hope area. So 13 of those 30 were up in Boston Bar. And I do vend at a lot of the markets locally, at the one at the park on Saturdays, at Hope Memorial Park. And then I vend at Christmas markets and various markets throughout the year.
Right. Now, is this your item as well?
Yes, that's my beadwork. Yes. So I do beaded insects, beaded jewelry, small items like that. I've been beading now since I was a teenager. I actually started out, I was taught by an Indigenous elder, and I decided that, with me not being Indigenous, that I would take beading and just kind of make it my own and create some unique and beautiful jewelry items.
Right. Now I remember you when I see these. That makes me remember. These were so awesome.
People love the beaded spiders.
Yeah, they're so cool, for sure.
Thank you.
So now that's a very detailed work, isn't it?
That is very detailed. When I first started, it would take me a couple of days to make a spider. Right. Now I can do one from start to finish in about a day. So it takes me almost a full day to do one of those insects.
And here's these beautiful
the dragonflies. Yeah, those are a top seller.
Who doesn't like dragonflies?
Well, dragonflies, hummingbirds, and hummingbirds, and bumblebees are my top 3 sellers.
Oh,
people seem to love them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I'm just looking at more beaded earrings here. They're really beautiful.
Thank you.
So hoping people can see them. So yeah, that's very nice. It's nice that you have a website so that people can imagine on there. They can link to see your items, right?
Yes, I have everything on there, and there's a shop page where you can just kind of browse through everything that I have on offer. There's over 100 items on there. Wow, and then you can also search categories, so you can look specifically at earrings, or you can look at the beaded bugs or the hair accessories. There's a lot to choose from there.
Right. I can't stop looking at these things. Sorry, I can't stop looking at your art.
Okay. Thank you, Stellar's J. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you say you're not, what did you say? You weren't an artist, but that is artistry.
Well, it is. I mean, I tried for a while. I fancied myself an artist and I tried to sell my canvases, with kind of a limited degree of success. But selling my art, including it in a functional way, people they see, there's more to it than just the artistic value of it. There's an actual use to it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a decorative box or a key rack, or and those racks, people use them for their oven mitts, they use them for their cooking spoons, or I mean, they were using them for their masks at the height of the pandemic. It just, it's just great to have some place to hang your keys when you come in.
Absolutely. And yeah, what was I going to ask you now? Okay, so you were, for the beading, you were taught by an Indigenous elder, but your other work, like the bird that just the Stellar's Day, whatever, is that all self-taught?
Yes, I'm all self-taught. I've never taken any type of painting classes. However, I'm 55 years old and I've been painting now for about 40 years. So every year I get better. I did go to a market up in Boston Bar, and I hadn't been there in probably 10 or 15 years. And one of the people that I remember from there, she saw my booth and she said, "Oh, Crystal, oh, your painting has really come along over the years."
Oh, well, that's
you
nice.
know, it was nice to hear. Yeah, for
You
sure.
want to know that you're improving, of course, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And everyone I do gets better.
Well, that's really nice. Yeah. But what inspires you to do like the spiders or whatever it is what makes you want to do those particular items?
Right. Well, in terms of my painting, if you take a look at them, just about everything has a living creature in it,
Mhm.
whether it's a butterfly or a bird, or a bear or a wolf. I'm really inspired by the nature of Canada, in particular BC. I paint lots of salmon. I paint lots of bears, lots of the wildlife that I see here. And Stellar's Jay is a big part of it. I'm an Ontario girl, and I didn't see a Stellar's Jay until I came out to BC. And that's actually the first one I ever painted, and I'm really proud of how it turned out.
Yeah, it turned out.
And then for my beading, I'm always looking for a new challenge. I'm always looking for something, some other new ways to express my creativity. And I've seen people do beaded bugs before. I've seen the beaded beetles, with the wings and whatnot. And I thought, I'd really like to try that. And the spiders, I just can't seem to stop making them. There's never any two alike.
Right.
And personally, even though I make them, I find them just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And every single one that comes off my table, I am immensely proud of.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of that, just we have I live in a condo. We have a new owners, and they're from Thailand, and she does, but she makes them into keychains.
Oh yes.
All kinds of characters. There's like Tony the Tiger or whatever. And it's like I think people enjoy them, right? And when you look at the work involved and the time, you can only imagine if you don't do it, the time it takes for somebody like you to do the work, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then, some people don't quite get it. My prices are very reasonable, but even so, there's the odd person who comes by and takes a look at the price tag. And I mean, they're average $50 for a spider pin. And they're like, "Oh, that's crazy." But they don't realize that, it's taken me all day, an entire day to make that.
Yeah.
And then the cost of the materials as well. Most of my spiders have natural minerals in them, natural stones.
Right.
So whether it's a turquoise or a polished agate, I have accents in there with, gold filled, sterling silver. Some of those beads are very expensive, and it adds up very quickly.
For sure.
So,
yeah. I don't quite understand why people need to make those type of comments, because like you don't have to buy it.
Right.
When you look at going to the art galleries and look at the, I'm talking about the one here in Chilliwack, O'Connor Gallery, and look at the prices of the paintings, if I find them very expensive, I'm not going to go to the artist and say, "Oh my gosh, that's very expensive."
Yeah.
I won't say anything. I won't buy it because I can't afford it. Or if I,
Yeah.
so I wish people wouldn't do that. I really do, because, it shows, first of all, it shows that they don't get it, right?
Yeah. 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 And I'm always sad. And I always say, well, I'm really sorry that you can't afford one of my spiders,
Yeah.
I mean, what else can I say? I'm not going to devalue my work. It's important to me. I mean, I'm not getting rich on it, but it's important that I can keep doing it. And so affording my materials and keep, to keep on creating is important to me.
Absolutely. I used to do a lot of crafting, and I always had that problem. Pricing things was always really, really difficult, because first of all, I never took in account my time, which is not a good thing, because
Right.
everybody's time is valuable, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. The way I see it, I could be sitting at home watching a movie making $0 an hour,
Yeah.
or I can be sitting at home watching a movie, doing something that I love with my hands
Yeah.
and make a little bit of extra money.
Yeah. I'm like that too. My hands up. I like to watch TV, so my hands have to be busy.
Yes. If my hands aren't busy sewing, I'm busy doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, are you still crocheting?
I don't crochet anymore, but my daughter is 31 and she is a very proficient crocheter.
Right.
She's
Oh,
doing little creatures and animals and
mm.
clothing. She's really, really good at it.
Yeah, I made a whole bunch of finger puppets. I used to sell finger puppets that are all crocheted. They were a lot of fun. The little kids loved them. The fact that they get their stick something on their finger.
Yeah.
So now you did the art crawl, and I said to everyone, as far as I'm concerned, it was really successful, as far as I could tell. I was there on the Sunday, and talking to Sabine. She was telling me some of the numbers that went through. So hopefully they'll have it again next year. Would you go into it again? Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely. I had a blast. It was so nice. I was upstairs at the Mountain View Brewing.
Right.
It was a beautiful space. The customers were really happy to come up and take a look at what we had to offer up there.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do it again next year. And I let Sabine know that I really enjoyed that.
I think that's something really good, that there was such a variety of work, right? And so that it's not just paintings, or it's not just beading, or whatever it is that people do that's considered art. I think a lot of people, and hopefully the numbers of people or participants will increase next year.
I hope so too. And I'd really love to see some of our local Indigenous artists participating. I know we had a few this year, but we have carvers, we have painters, we have people who work with hide. They make their drums, they make rattles. I would love to see a little bit more of that on the tour.
Yeah, that would be really, really good. I mean, Hope is known for this, especially for the carving. Right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
You get the tourists. It's really awesome. And now, speaking of that, now I'm hoping that tourism will start to pick up in Hope. Has it?
Well, Labor Day weekend was a little bit nuts. The traffic is crazy on the Old Hope Princeton Highway. Now, whether they stop in Hope, I don't really know, but I know there's certainly a lot of traffic passing through.
So when they're in the high tourist season, like, are you able to get your work on display somewhere?
I have looked at a few options, getting into a couple of shops. Okay. We have one at least that's consignment. It doesn't really work for me just because of the nature of the work that I do. I have a story that's attached to my work that I like to tell. And so I like to vend my items personally. So, I work full time. I do this as a hobby, and really I sell it just to support my hobby. So I do advertise quite a bit on social media, and I get my website out there, and I do see that on busy weekends, people take note of my website, and they pay a visit and take a look and place their orders here and there. So it's certainly not flying off the shelves off of my online shop, but I'm happy with the way it's going, and that's good for me. I do very well at local markets, though.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Now, you said you work full time. Do you mind if I ask what you do?
I work as a career counselor, providing employment supports for people with disabilities.
Oh, now, how did you get into that?
Well, I spent the last 30 years, well, almost exclusively working in Indigenous communities. The
Mhm.
last 10, I was specializing in housing, Indigenous housing.
Okay.
And then in the new year, I started to kind of, well, with COVID, I mean, a lot of my job description changed with COVID.
Right.
So I started to reassess where I wanted to see my life going. Like I mentioned, I'm 55, so I started thinking about what's important to me and how can I really make a difference in my community. And um, working in employment services is something that I've always enjoyed doing. I did become a certified career development practitioner several years ago and never actually worked in the field except off the edge of my desk. And so I thought, there's a job opening at Free Rein Associates in the Reins of Freedom program. And I just applied and been doing that since May and loving every minute of it.
All right. So here you are, you got a job you love, and you're doing things with your hands that you love.
Absolutely.
What
Yes.
could be better than that, right?
Well, now I've decided to run for town council also.
Okay, there you go. Well, of
So
course.
the election is in October, so I'm really hopeful that, that people will think about me and they'll appreciate, how I feel about the community, and maybe they'll put me in a position where I can really make some big changes.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So what are you going to bring to the table as a counselor? If you
Well, I know my community. I'm
Mhm.
very well connected with the people that live here. I feel like I'm really up to date and informed about what matters to the people who are here. I know what aspects of our community are precious to us. It's that small town feel. It's that maintaining that identity of an arts-based community, really being the caring community that we really demonstrated during the floods of last November. I think that's something that I want to help our community celebrate and maintain that really positive perspective.
Right. Sorry about that. I forgot. This is the second interview where I forgot to turn my phone off.
That's okay.
That's not, but anyway, sorry. Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt about that with that. So, yeah, hopefully people will get out there. And one thing, talk about the uniqueness a little bit more about Hope, because it is a unique place.
We are. I mean, Hope is first of all, it's spectacularly beautiful.
Mhm.
We are the place where all roads meet. Everybody has to pass through Hope to get anywhere else. It's where I think there's 5 main convergences here in Hope. There's the railroads, the rivers, and the highways. All roads end at Hope, or all roads meet in Hope.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's all roads meet. But that's part of it. But also there is a fierce feeling of ownership from the people who live here. And it doesn't take long for people to claim Hope as their own when they first move here. There are a lot of displaced people, not displaced, people who have moved from other provinces and have just settled here and decided to never leave, that you see, it's a small town feel, and that small town feel is very precious to the people who live here. They really value that. They value the ability to connect with their neighbors and to connect with other citizens.
Yeah, very good. Well, we're going to end it there. So just stay on camera. I just want to remind everybody that I've been talking with Crystal. Crystal, I've already, see, I go blank with names. Crystal Sedore. I will be posting her website, and remember, she's in Hope. She's a designer and an artist. She's going to be running for council in October. So a lot of things going on. And of course, she talked about a job. So hopefully you'll watch the show and you'll follow and you'll look her up. And if you're local, you already know her more than likely. But if you're not local, Hope is not that far away. If you're anywhere in the Fraser Valley, Hope it's not that far away. So get up there and have a look, and find out a little bit more about what the place has to offer. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the show. Hopefully you'll like it and share it and subscribe, people. That's always nice. That's just my little bit.
Thank you.
And be nice, everybody. Just be nice and peace out.
A sense of community, Chilliwack's a place to be. A sense of community where you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's a place to be, you'll see.